There are some games that just have that special sauce that pulls you right in from the very beginning, and it holds you there for dear life. That game for me is Castlevania. Not only has it changed my taste in gaming overall, but it's also influenced my taste in music as well. Luckily, my wife Shelby here is also into it, so her and I decided to embark on a journey to collect every single Castlevania game, with the one rule being you cannot buy it online. You have to get it from a convention, thrift store, garage sale, all of the above. The journey is far from over, but we've accumulated enough that I think it's time to talk about it. Let's get to it. What's up, guys? Thank you for tuning in. So this is my wife, Shelby.
Hello.
You know me. I'm Dustin, also known as Wrath, Twisted Identity. Let's go ahead and cut to the chase, starting off with the NES Castlevania, the first one. This one is definitely up there with one of my favorites. It was not the first game that I played. I actually played this on emulator when I was like, 12 years old or something. That was my first exposure to the original. When did you play this?
I actually, it was close to when we started dating. That was 2012, I think so. I actually didn't play any Castlevania until later on. We will talk about the games that was my first, much later in the video.
Yeah, 13 long-ass years. So yeah, that's the first Castlevania. Classic. I love this one. It's pretty much perfection for me as far as NES games go, and I'll show you a fun little glitch. Check this out. So when you get to stage 10, or after you beat the third boss, you'll eventually make it to this area. Under the hood, the developer intends for the player to reset a particular value in the game's code so that it can transition to the next screen. It's a memory issue, basically. So to do this, the game is designed to force you to jump onto that middle platform, but when you skip that platform and let the bat boost you to the last one, the game will crash because of the value not being reset. It doesn't know what to load. There's a more detailed explanation from Carl Jobs that I'll put in the video description, and there's even a speedrunner who figured out how to skip all the way to the end credits with this glitch. It's pretty wild. So this was my very first Castlevania game. This is Castlevania 2 Simon's Quest. Yes, the infamous Simon's Quest. AVGN pretty much made everybody hate it, I want to say. I mean, it's not a perfect game, but I love it. The music in it is awesome. The atmosphere, just everything about it. It was sort of like Zelda 2 in that it's not just level to level, it's an open world type thing. So yeah, it's one of the first of its kind, so despite its flaws, the mistranslations, I still think this is an awesome game. Did you play this one?
Actually, I have not played Simon's Quest 2 yet. I would like to play the one that's like the edited version that fixes all of the mistranslations and everything so that I actually know what I'm supposed to be doing.
Yeah, there's a ROM hack of this. It's called Simon's Quest Redacted, where instead of being super cryptic, I can't really quote anything. Here's an example. Instead of doing that, it'll just say like, go see the guy in this town, or go to this building, and that's where you find your items or whatever you need. Oh, fun fact. Nocturnal from the Black Dahlia Murder, that album was based on Castlevania 2. That was one of Trevor Strnad's favorite games. Now here is a banger right here. This is Castlevania 3, Dracula's Curse. This is most everyone's favorite as far as the NES games go. To be honest, I do like it. I mean, you could play as different characters, go on branching paths. On paper, it's like the perfect Castlevania game. For me, it's cool, but I don't like it as much as the first one.
My opinion is a bit different on it. I really like this one. This is my favorite NES game, but it's not on the top of my tier list for sure.
I still do play this regularly. Like, it's not a bad game at all. I just don't like it as much as the first. Then again, I know the first like the back of my hand at this point. And this is not an easy game either. Here's what I consider to be the holy grail of our collection. We walked into a game store that was closing and picked this bad boy up. This is a complete in-box version of Dracula's Curse right here. Still has the styrofoam in it and everything. Here's the back. gorgeous copy of the game. And we have it in a protector, of course. This was $125. I think the price has doubled since then, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, no regrets. And I mean, this thing is minty. Like, if I wanted to, I could probably get this graded and make it much more valuable, but I'm not paying somebody to put it in an acrylic box and tell me how much they think. Whatever. You know that. What's next? We have Castlevania Bloodlines. My first exposure to this, I had a neighbor that was about my parents' age with a Sega Genesis, and she had this. Here's a close-up view here. We only have it loose, unfortunately, but that's okay. This is a later release. You can tell by the circuit board. That's actually a Majesco-produced cartridge. But this is a really cool game. Hard as balls after the first couple levels, but it's awesome. Being able to play as John Morris or Eric Lacarde, and then later on being able to have ties with them on Portrait of Rona is really cool too, because you play as Jonathan Morris, and then you meet Eric Lacarde like a revenant form or whatever he is.
Which one did you like playing more?
When I was a kid, I liked Eric Lacarde more because his little thing he does with the lance. But now I prefer John Morris because you can whip in different directions, and he's a lot faster. Like, he whips like that fast.
I like Eric a lot more. I never actually finished this game because the one level where you're going like up and it kind of spins in a circle upwards, I got stuck on that one really hardcore and I never finished it.
I've never beaten this game either. I got fairly far, maybe 4 levels in, I think, but yeah, it's not easy. It will kick your ass. Really need to get the case for this.
Yeah. It's going to be hard to find one, though.
Next up is Castlevania 4, Super Castlevania 4. This is hailed as probably the best of the classic games, and it's definitely up there. I do like it slightly more than Bloodlines. It's just a little bit more forgiving. The control is better. It has killer music. Both versions have killer music, but I slightly prefer this game. This, I actually first played this as a rental. We had a Super Nintendo and we rented it.
This is actually the first old school Castlevania game that I personally beat. And I still would recommend it to anyone. It's a very good game.
Definitely. Even if you don't like Castlevania, you just want a solid action game, give it a try. Now here's where we get into the bread and butter of the series for me. This is my #1 all-time favorite video game.
Same here.
Nothing tops it for me. Everything about this, to me, is a 10 out of 10. The music, the graphics, the gameplay. I got this for my birthday years ago for $20 at Walmart. And yeah, it's just amazing. I wish I still had my original copy, but this is a pretty minty copy, as you can see. It is complete, of course, not a reproduction. Black label. Good stuff.
Now, many of you might be thinking, oh, this is surely the one that you played first, Shelby. It's still not. It definitely isn't the first one I ever played, but it is my top favorite game of all time. It's just perfect in every way. The only thing that I think would make it better is if there was a hard mode to it, and there isn't.
This game is pretty easy compared to all the other ones. Probably the easiest Castlevania, but I don't care because it is the most fun out of all of them. There's a Saturn version too, which has some extras in it, but I prefer the PlayStation version. It just plays better.
And I know the PlayStation version has like mistranslations in it, but I still prefer it way more to the newest ones because it is just so iconic.
Yeah, it's like the Mario world of Castlevania, basically. You really can't beat it.
What is a man?
A miserable little
I can talk all day
secrets.
about this. I'm gonna shut up now about this one. So this, I recently picked up at the Gadsden Collector Con in Gadsden, Alabama from my good buddy Retro Wolf. Shout out Retro Wolf. I got a pretty good deal on this. The only issue is with this copy, it is technically disc only because the artwork in here is reproduction, but it's a pretty good reproduction. So yeah, original disc obviously. The manual and the inserts are repro. Story with this one is, I actually did not know this existed until a little while ago. I was maybe in my mid-teens. I found a website called Castlevania Dungeon, and I was seeing sprite sheets from this game. So I was like, what? There's another Castlevania on the PlayStation? And then eventually I saw it was on sale at Amazon for $40. Yeah, this for $40 on Amazon. Let that sink in. And I was a stupid kid, and I guess got rid of it eventually. But here it is again. sort of. But this is awesome. This is basically like a remixed version of the first Castlevania. Has 2 different modes. It has the original remake, which was on the MSX, I want to say, MSX or Sharp or something, and then it has the PlayStation remix version. Both are awesome. This is a great game. Hard as fuck. It's a lot harder than the original Castlevania, and whoever come up with some of these levels is an asshole, but I still love this version. Did you play this one?
Actually, I did play a little bit of it, I think for like through the first 2 levels, but I don't really remember anything about it. I just remember Simon, and that's really it, because I think it's one of the best Simon designs.
Yeah, I think it's the coolest version of Simon is in this one, and the music is excellent too. It gives me the Symphony of the Night vibes, except there's some guitar action going on here. Moving on up, we have Castlevania Lament of Innocence for the PS2. This one is complete, and this is a pretty minty copy. Very good copy. I got the PS2 a little late, a couple years late. This had just come out when I actually got my first PS2, and I spent all Christmas break at my grandmother's playing this non-stop, and I love it. This is one of my favorite Castlevanias. It's not Symphony of the Night, but it's like a Metroidvania, but in 3D.
Yep.
It's one of the first Metroidvanias in that style where it's fully 3D, and I think it works. People call Lords of Shadow kind of the god of Vania. Well, there was some hack and slash stuff going on in these PS2 games too. And it has amazing music too. Same composer, Symphony of the Night, Masahiro Yamane. So, solid soundtrack.
It's a very good game. I actually still have to beat it because I got stuck on one of the bosses, but it is, yeah, it's a really good 3D Castlevania game, better than, the ones on the Nintendo 64. But yeah, it's another one I highly recommend to anyone who likes hack and slashes, especially if you like, I don't know, like, not God of War, what is it, Devil May Cry?
Yeah.
I think you would enjoy it.
Yeah, the N64 games kind of soured people for a while on the 3D Castlevanias. This is not that. This is Castlevania in 3D done right.
Yes.
Next is Curse of Darkness. This is debatably better than Lament of Innocence even, and this time you have a sword. What is this guy's name? It's been so long.
Oh gosh, I don't remember.
I'll edit it somewhere in this video because I can't remember. But yeah, I beat Lament of Innocence about 3 times. This one I've only beaten once. That's the reason why I'm not that familiar with it, but debatably this is the better game. It's just a little more polished. A lot like Lament of Innocence, but a little bit more refined.
Yeah, this one you can have familiars in it, which is really fun.
Yeah, familiars in a 3D Castlevania. It is really cool. And again, it's got that Metroidvania style, so you're exploring a huge castle. It's not level to level, it's not like it's kind of, I guess, technically an open world thing, but you get the idea. 3D Metroidvania. Next, we have Castlevania, the Lords of Shadow Collection. Now, this kind of grinds my gears a little bit. The reason why is because they call it the Lords of Shadow Collection, but it's missing Lords of Shadow 2. It has a demo on it instead. Why call it that if it doesn't have the second game? There's only 3 games anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it includes Lords of Shadow, Lords of Shadow Mirror of Fate, which is a port of the 3DS game, which is...
It's an HD, I believe.
Yeah, HD version. It does have a couple DLC things, and then of course the demo. This one is complete, as you can see. I actually, I bought this assuming that this would have Lords of Shadow 2. I didn't read the fine print where it said demo.
Have you actually played this one? The
No,
first one?
No, I haven't.
It's
I played the first one briefly, and I thought it was boring.
Well, here's the thing. These games are not Castlevania games. Like, they just aren't. But they are good games. If you really like God of War, or... I compared it a lot to Dante's Inferno, like that kind of gameplay. It's still pretty good. I mean, it's not a Castlevania game, but I would still recommend you give it a try if you haven't already. As for Mirror of Fate, not a very good game, honestly.
It's like, think of like Batman Arkham Origins Blackgate, where they turned the 3D into a 2.5D thing. My issue, though, with Mirror of Fate, besides being just that, is that it's a side-scroller, yet it takes 1,000 hits to kill the damn enemy from what I remember.
Yeah,
Like just a basic enemy.
They tried to make a Metroidvania, and it's a lot of
Just didn't
jumping
work.
around and grabbing ledges, and nothing really exciting happens, and like he said, it takes everything forever to die. It's awful.
Yeah, I do want to revisit it though, really both of them, just because I may have changed my mind since then. Because I know a lot of people like the original Lords of Shadow. Some people call it God of Vania or whatever, but I don't know. I need to revisit both of those, to be honest with you. Now, here is one that kind of flipped things on its head, I guess. Castlevania Lords of Shadow 2. Because I thought that other game came with this, and it didn't, today, actually, I went to Video Games Express in Grove City, Ohio. They had a copy and held it for me, so shout out to those guys. Thank you, Alex. Lords of Shadow 2, they brought back the Metroidvania type thing again, which I love. This game is solid. I don't think it got enough credit. Because the first couple games, they just kind of wrote this off, I guess, but you get to play as Dracula on this, man.
Yeah. Now, I will say these games do not follow the traditional lore. They kind of just ignored the lore and made their own thing for these games, which is why I kind of also say that it's not really Castlevania. It's just kind of rewritten, which is kind of a bummer to me. But it's not bad. It's really good gameplay, and the story isn't bad either. It's just not the same.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's, I wouldn't say it's like one of my top favorite Castlevania games, but for what it is, I do think it's a banger. I really enjoy this. Speaking of bangers, how about Castlevania Requiem Collection for the PS4 from Limited Run Games? This one's still sealed. I would like to eventually maybe get a loose copy because I'm afraid to unseal this thing. So it comes with Symphony of the Night, Rondo of Blood. Did it come with any others?
No idea.
Don't think so, but still. Classic Edition, really cool to have. Have you played Rondo of Blood?
I think I did. I tried, but it was just so hard that I didn't get very far in it.
I beat Rondo of Blood with save states. So this one we actually did pre-order from Limited Run Games. It took them almost 2 years to actually ship the damn thing. The reason why is because of this card deck. A lot of people already had the game, except us, because we were waiting on this. But this is a cool little deck of cards for Castlevania that I had to have. And here's the back. And I'll just kind of show you what it looks like on the inside. For a lot of the face cards, you have like Kid Dracula, he's the Joker. I don't know who that's supposed to be. Maria, I guess? It's another Joker.
Let me see.
Here's an ace. And then like your number cards are like, you have like your sub-weapons, so your knives and whatever. That's basically like your faces. So here's a Jack. This is Simon on the Jack card. It's one of the Medusas for the Queen. They really did a good job with these. Dracula from, I think, Rondo of Blood as the king. And then this is Holy Water for these numbers, like 2 in Holy Water. Here's Simon again from Simon's Quest. That's the Jack card. Another Simon's Quest. Alucard from Castlevania 3. John Morris from Bloodlines. Very high quality. They're like...
Oh no! No!
So yeah, very high quality deck of cards. I don't know who actually made these, but it feels like bicycle cards or Hoyle cards. Very good. Not something I would actually play with because I don't want to ruin these. But yeah, cool collector's piece. So this is not technically Castlevania, but I still count it as part of the Castlevania collection because of who made it. There were some developers part of this team that made this game, and that is, of course, Bloodstained Ritual of the Night. This is another side-scrolling Metroidvania style game, and I haven't beaten it yet, but from what I played, it did not disappoint.
It's very good. I have beaten it. It is very good. It has kind of like Symphony of the Night where it has 2 castles, and it's really good. They actually have the voice actor for Alucard in there somewhere. I think that his name's OD or something like that. It's a very good game. It kind of mixes every Metroidvania Castlevania together. It's really interesting.
I really need to go through this again. It's just time as a factor and me getting distracted easily. But yeah, your protagonist is a girl named Miriam, and she reminds me very much of like Shanoa from World of Ecclesia. That's the vibe I get from her. like a mix of Shinoa from Order of Ecclesia and then her version from Judgment on the Wii. Yeah, kind of interesting. But yeah, this is a cool game. And next and last for PS4, at least for right now, is Dead Cells Return to Castlevania Edition. So yeah, not really a Castlevania game, but I wanted to include it because, I mean, there you go. The Castlevania DLC. You basically unlock areas, you get interact with particular characters, like Alucard is in this. It's pretty cool, and you can get lost in Dead Cells for hours.
Yeah, you can.
Moving on to the Switch. These are amazing. So here is Bloodstained Curse of the Moon. That's the first one. I believe the cartridge is in the other room. Yeah, but it's got a couple little collector thingies because it's limited run. So we have this foil card, right? And then you have your manual. And yeah, I've beaten this a couple times. I've also played it a bunch of times on the Vita. The Vita is actually a really cool system to play this on. You have any comments?
I don't have many comments because this is more your forte. I'm not too much into like the old school Castlevania type things, and that's what this is.
Yeah, there's really not very many Castlevania games that I dislike. The only one I could think of that I really don't like would be either Mirror of Fate or what was it? Haunted Castle, which that's an arcade game. Now this is even better. Not to say that the other one's bad, but they really cranked it up on Curse of the Moon 2 Bloodstained. And then here's the inside of this. Same kind of deal. You have your manual here. Now we actually got the classic edition of this, which is right here. The case is out of it, but yeah, that's the classic edition. Really cool to have.
I never played this one, so I have no opinions on it.
You get to play as either Miriam or Zangetsu, which is like a swordsman guy, and it sort of has that branching path type thing going on, kind of like Castlevania 3, because you get to basically choose what direction you're going to go in, at the end of the level.
I thought there was 4 different players you could switch between.
There might be 4. I don't remember.
I know with the...
Oh, here we go. Yeah, I need to do my damn research before recording these videos. Last up we have for the Switch is Castlevania Anniversary Collection. We were late to the party on this. We didn't pre-order anything, but we found it at the Gadsden Collector Con again for a very good price. I think it was like $60 or something like that.
Yeah.
This comes with Castlevania 1, 2, 3, 4, The Adventure, 2, Belmont's Revenge, which those are Game Boy titles. We got Bloodlines, and we got Kid Dracula, which this is the first official release of Kid Dracula in English. So that's pretty cool. And I don't know about you, but I never get sick of this Konami-style box. I would also like to find this loose so we don't have to unseal this.
Yeah.
So that was the console games. Here are the handheld versions.
Yep. So this is actually where I started. My very first game ever was Castlevania Dawn of Sorrow. I loved this game for the longest time. It was actually my favorite Castlevania for years. And then eventually I finally switched over to really loving Symphony of the Night. But this one's really good. Dustin's, he doesn't have as good of an opinion of it as I do because he thinks that the weapons are very slow. I think they control just fine. My biggest gripe with this game though, and it's the same thing with Portrait of Ruin, is the anime artwork. I would much prefer the more realistic graphics that they had.
That Victorian thing.
Yeah, I really like that. I'm not sure what made them decide to go to the anime type portraits and artwork.
Yeah, it's just a wider audience.
Yeah.
Maybe.
But it's a pretty unique game in the fact that you kind of get all of your powers from all the monsters that you can collect. And I think every single creature in the game has a power that you can get from it. And trust me, if you want to 100% this game, it's going to take you a long time because some of them very rarely drop their powers. The bosses are very unique in the fact that you have to use the touchscreen to actually make these like runes to kill them off in the end.
That got on my nerves.
Oh, I loved it. I really, really loved it.
It's an okay idea, I guess. Well, like that gimmick because it's the DS, new touchscreen technology, whatever. I mean, if you're playing it on the original hardware, yeah, fine. If you're emulating that though, have fun.
Yeah, I actually did it the first time with emulation, but I had a graphics tablet at that time, so I used my tablet in order to do the circles and stuff. The one thing about this game is that it does not have Dracula in it, so if you're looking for one of the Castlevanias that have Dracula, this is not it. But I still highly recommend it.
Yeah, it's not my favorite. I don't think it's a bad game. It's just not my favorite. But I mean, it's still solid. Like she said, I don't like how slow the weapons are. Where any weapon that's worth a crap, you have to be like, whenever you freaking swing at an enemy, it's just, like, come on.
But they have such a wide range. If something's above you, you can get it. You don't have to worry about being really spot on. That's what I like about it.
I'm more into like the that kind of thing, kind of like Alucard or the original Soma Cruz from Aria of Sorrow, but it's still a good game. I play this sometimes on an Ambernic device, Ambernic RG35XX SP. That's the one where when you fight a boss, you better use a save state, because that stupid rune where you're going to have to try about 10 times before you get the rune right, because you're just using a D-pad to draw it.
Yeah.
But if you play it on the original hardware, obviously that's a non-issue. But
yeah.
A lot of people don't play it on original hardware anymore.
Yeah, this one you actually can upgrade your weapons as well.
Yeah. It's a cool game there. And this is complete too, isn't it?
I believe so.
Yes. Yeah, that's a minty copy too.
Yep.
Very mint copy.
The next one we have is Castlevania Portrait of Ruin, which is my second Castlevania game ever. It's actually really unique because you switch between two characters throughout the whole game. Other than that, I don't remember if you can get like special attacks. I think you can from the monsters that you fight. Gosh, the ending boss, I think, is the cheapest ending boss of any of the Castlevania games. It sucks. And if you have played this, then you know. Just because you get... I guess it's more fair because you get double teamed. So, if it's 2-on-2, I guess that's more fair.
This is my favorite of the DS games, actually, Portrait of Ruin. Here's the back side of it. Right. Mostly because it's a little bit faster paced, I think. I like the character swapping mechanic. That's really cool. And they brought back using a whip. It's been a little too long since they've given you the ability to use a whip, I think. You had it as, like if you played as Julius on Aria of Sorrow, but you have to unlock him first. But as far as the protagonist using a whip, you didn't have it since Harmony of Dissonance. So I was glad to see that being brought back. And I really love the music in this one. The level design is up there. This is definitely one of my very favorites. It's in probably top 3 or top 5 Castlevania games, actually.
It's very good. And you switching between the two characters because you have the one that has the physical weapons, the whip, and then the one that has the magic. Yeah, the magic. Yeah. So that's it's just a really unique mechanic that aren't in any of the other Castlevania games.
Next up is one that we've been looking for quite a while, and we finally got it about a week ago.
Yep. This is Castlevania, Order of Ecclesia, which was my third Castlevania game. Can you tell I started on the DS? Now, I will say that this game is very grindy. It's probably the grindiest one of all of the games. It's very difficult.
It is extremely hard as far as like the handheld ones go.
Yeah, especially at the later half of the game, you've really got to put the work in order to not just get immediately wrecked by anything and everything. But it is still a really good game. Just be aware that you're going to be fighting a lot of things to get those levels up. It also has kind of like a... what's the word? Like a stamina function. Kind of like how in Dark Souls you can't just keep hitting your attack button because you'll get tired. That is also in this game, which is kind of strange. A lot of people aren't a big fan of it, but I thought it was fine.
Yeah, the stamina thing is kind of a bummer, but the whole glyph system thing, though, is cool because you could basically be swinging 2 different weapons at once if you wanted to. Mm-hmm. I think out of the DS games, or really any of the handheld games, this is probably the most unique of the bunch, but it's also the hardest of the bunch. A little bit out of order, but we recently got the NES port of Castlevania 1 for the Game Boy Advance. It's Castlevania 1 for the Game Boy Advance. Not really much to talk about here. This is one of my favorites. So this is the Dracula X Chronicles for the PSP. This is an awesome package. You get the remade version of Castlevania Rondo of Blood, and then once you beat that, you unlock Symphony of the Night and the original Rondo of Blood. So this is technically a collection in itself. And the remake is really cool. It's a little bit more forgiving than the original Rondo of Blood, so if you want to play that and you don't want to get beaten nearly as bad, play the PSP version. This is also complete. Very minty copy. Have you played this one yet?
I think I only played it for the Symphony of the Night, which I was still very disappointed that they didn't have the extra locations that you can get in the Saturn version, and they still haven't included those in any of the newer releases, which makes me very upset.
Yeah, this is the PS1 version of Symphony of the Night, what's included in here. Something kind of weird and kind of stupid too is that they changed the voice acting on Symphony of the Night on here. So like their lines are different. I think the voice actors themselves are different too.
Yeah, because it's the more accurate translation of it. And I think they also, I could be wrong, I think they include the fight with Maria, is that her name?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just know like the prologue section, instead of hearing "Die, monster, you don't belong in this world," he's like, "Dracula, I've come to defeat you," or something stupid like that. Still an awesome game. Castlevania Adventure for the original Game Boy. This gets a lot of mixed reception. A lot of people do not like it because of how slow it is. But think about it. You're on that piss Mountain Dew green screen on the original Game Boy. And if this game moved any faster, it would be hella blurry. So that's the reason why it was that slow. Because of all that ghosting you had on that dot matrix screen. And you even had ghosting on the Game Boy Pocket too. It really didn't get resolved until the Game Boy Color. This has a killer soundtrack though for being Game Boy, and if you can get past the slowness thing, it's a really fun game. It's pretty unique. It has good level design on it. Just come on, it's Castlevania on the go back in the 80s or maybe early 90s. I can't remember when this came out, but I think it's awesome. And there is a ROM hack out there that actually speeds the game up if you're going to emulate it.
This one has the remake, right?
Yeah, there is a remake of this on the Wii as well, Castlevania Adventure Rebirth. I wish they had a physical version.
I would say if you're not as interested in collecting or just trying out the older versions of these games, I would recommend Rebirth before this one.
Yeah, if you're not like a really hardcore Castlevania fan, just play the remake. The Adventure Rebirth on the Wii. Amazing game, has an amazing soundtrack. This one's a little bit more on the uncommon side. This is Castlevania 2 Belmont's Revenge. A lot of people say that that's the superior version to play on the Game Boy. I think it's still just as slow as Adventure, so I don't know why suddenly a lot of people think that this is so good. It is good, don't get me wrong, it is the better game, but I don't know. Anyway, I love having this. This is like an $80 game now, something like that. And then last for the handheld games, definitely not least, is Castlevania Harmony of Dissonance. This one is kind of weird to me because when I played it the first time, I really didn't care for it. I played Circle of the Moon and Aria of Sorrow first, then I played this one. So I was kind of disappointed. I didn't care for the sub-weapon system where you like upgrade your sub-weapons with like different elements or whatever. I thought it was kind of lame. I thought the music sucked. But now, like years later, I find myself playing this more than the other two. I don't know why, there's just something about it. It's got some mojo about it that keeps me coming back. And I do like the whole dashing left and right, like over and over. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's been a while since I played, but I also remember not really caring that much for it. Maybe I should give it another go, because I don't remember a whole lot about it.
Yeah, it really grew on me. I didn't really care for it back in the day, but now that I'm older, it's one of my favorites. It's really good. As long as you can get past the kind of janky music. The music is still good, but it sounds like you're playing on like almost an 8-bit system, like a TurboGrafx or something. It's kind of weird. We do still have several games we need to get. We need to get Judgment. We need to get Circle of the Moon, Aria of Sorrow. I would like to eventually have these all complete in the box, especially the NES games too. I want Simon's Quest and the first one complete, just like the third one. We need Rondo of Blood. I'll put a whole list on
Kid
screen
Dracula.
of what we're still missing. Yeah, we need to get Kid Dracula. We need to get Castlevania Legends for the Game Boy. That's like a $200-$300 game. You play as Sypha. Here are a couple other miscellaneous items I forgot to include. We got this at a convention. I think it was at Torg. Somebody 3D printed this and made it into a magnet. It's like a magnet cartridge of Castlevania, the first one. And then we found this puzzle here. I guess it's related to the Netflix series. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't really know because Dracula doesn't really look like any of the Draculas. I know he's got a really weird looking mustache there. But I know it's an official thing.
Yeah, Castlevania by Becky Cloonan.
Yeah.
We've not even put this together yet.
I probably never will.
Probably won't, because I mean...
It's just for a collection.
Yeah, it's just a have. Just a cool thing to have. Here's some goodies we got on the wall. So here's a lenticular picture. This is Castlevania 1. Move over, you got Simon's Quest. Move over again, you got Dracula's Curse. Here's a fan art picture. Can't remember if it came from a convention or Gatlinburg, Tennessee. So there's that. We have a poster for Dracula's Curse from Nintendo Power. A couple amiibos, Simon and Richter right here. And here's another fan art. One final recap of the collection. We have Castlevania 1 for the NES. Castlevania 2, Simon's Quest. Castlevania 3, Dracula's Curse. Castlevania 3, Dracula's Curse, complete in box. Here's the back. Castlevania Bloodlines for the Sega Genesis. Super Castlevania 4. Castlevania Symphony of the Night for the PS1. Here's the back and the inside. Castlevania Chronicles for the PS1. Here's the back again and the inside. Castlevania Lament of Innocence for the PS2. There's the back and the inside for this. Castlevania Curse of Darkness for PS2. There's the back of that. And the inside, we are missing the manual. Castlevania Lords of Shadow Collection for PS3. Complete. Castlevania Lords of Shadow 2 for PS3. Castlevania Requiem Collection from Limited Run Games for PS4. Bloodstain Ritual of the Night for PS4. Dead Cells Return to Castlevania for PS4. Castlevania Anniversary Collection, the Classic Edition for the Switch. Bloodstained Curse of the Moon for the Switch. Bloodstained Curse of the Moon 2 for the Switch. And the limited run classic edition of Curse of the Moon 2 for the Switch. The Castlevania Adventure for Game Boy. Castlevania 2 Belmont's Revenge for Game Boy. Castlevania Harmony of Dissonance for Game Boy Advance. Classic NES Castlevania for Game Boy Advance. As you can see, it's complete. Castlevania Dawn of Sorrow for the DS. Castlevania Portrait of Ruin for the DS. Castlevania Order of Ecclesia for the DS. Castlevania Dracula X Chronicles for the PSP. Magnet of Castlevania 1 for the NES, fridge magnet. A Castlevania Collection deck of cards. And a 1,000-piece Castlevania puzzle. The Simon Amiibo. And the Richter Amiibo. So that's our Castlevania collection so far. Once we accumulate more, I'll probably make an updated video, but until then, I thank you for watching. If you made it this far, check out all my socials, check out the shirt hoard, which is what she runs. I'll put that on screen, and until next time, horns up.
It's too bad you're not recording this. You can put it in your bloopers or something.
Yeah.
Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.